Max wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws, plays a swamp, and passes. I've got a mountain for turn, and tap it for Soul Ring. I tap the Soul Ring from Mycosynth Wellspring, and as it enters, go to find a basic to hand. Felix plays a Bright Climb Pathway, passing after that. Marie has a tapped Elegant Parlor and surveils 1. Max has a Swamp for turn, paying 2 for a Mephitic Drought. This has him losing 1 and drawing a card as it enters and passing to me. I've got a Swamp for turn and pay 3 for Descent into Avernus. Felix just draws, plays a mountain, and passes. Marie has a mountain as well, paying 2 for a Felwar Stone. Maxime plays a Swamp for turn and has enough to cast his commander, Braids. He then moves to his end step, sacrificing the Mephitic Draft to her ability. I get to sacrifice my Wellspring, while Felix and Marie take 2 as they can't sacrifice anything, and Max draws 2 cards. Max also loses 1 and draws a card from the draft hitting the bin, while I go and find a basic for my Wellspring going to the graveyard as well. My upkeep has the Descent triggering, adding 2 counters, making everyone 2 treasures, and dealing 2 to the table. I then play a Swamp for turn, and pay 3 for Evereth. 2 mana then gets me a Loyal Apprentice, and I move to combat. I make a Thopter token, which has haste from the Apprentice, and I hit Felix for 1. I pass after that. Felix has an Ancient Tomb for turn, and takes 2 as he taps it to help cast Cadric, and passes. Marie has a Plains for turn, and pays 3 for an Enduring Innocence. She then brings out the Jolly Balloon Man, which as it enters, draws her a card from the Enduring Innocence trigger. She passes after that. Max has a Swamp, and he taps 4 mana to cast Beseech the Mirror, sacrificing a treasure token to pay for its bargain cost. He goes to tutor for a card, revealing Cryptghast, which because it costs 4 or less, he gets to cast for free. Going to his end step, Max sacrifices his last treasure token to Braids trigger, and Felix and I sacrifice 1, while Marie can't and takes the 2. This has Max drawing 1, and he passes to me. On my upkeep, Descent gains another 2 counters and deals 4 to the table and makes us 4 treasures. I draw for turn and play a mountain. I then tap 6 mana for Harvester of Souls and follow up with a Reassembling Skeleton. I then sacrifice the skeleton to Evereth, drawing a card from the Harvester and giving my commander a +1/+1 counter. I then sacrifice the Thopter, giving her another 1. Going to combat, I make another Thopter token and swing Evereth at Max. Max responds before damage by sacrificing some treasures to cast Baleful Mastery, and pays the alternate cost, letting Marie draw a card, and exiles my commander. With nothing else, I pass. Felix has a Plains for turn, and uses some lands and treasures to cast Delina, paying for Cadric's cost as she comes into play to make a token copy of her. He then takes 2 damage from the Ancient Tomb as he dashes out Jaxus, and pays the Cadric ability again, making a token copy as well. He then activates the hasty token copy of Jaxus, discarding a card, and making a token copy of Hasty Delina. Felix then goes to combat, and he swings all of his Delinas at Max, which is a mistake, but we do catch it before damage and he untaps the real one. Felix then starts to roll for the Delina triggers, and he ends up making a total of 5 extras, and he sends all of those extras at me. I block what I can, while Max takes the full hit. Felix then moves to his end step, sacrificing his Jaxuses and drawing 2, and we move to Marie's turn. Marie plays a mountain for turn, and pays 6 for an Overlord of the Boiler Bilge. As it comes in, she puts all of the damage from its Enter the Battlefield trigger on Cadric. With its ability on the stack, Felix responds by casting Swords to Plowshares, and exiles the Jolly Balloon Man. Marie gains 1, and Cadric then dies, and I get to draw a card from the Harvester. Marie then follows up with Marvin, drawing a card from the Enduring Innocence. Going to combat, she swings the now not so innocent at Felix for 2, and passes after it connects. Max draws and plays a Swamp. He taps the Swamp for 2, which allows him to cast a Jet Medallion. he follows up with a Sir Conrad. Max then casts a Tithing Blade, which has its opponents sacrificing a creature. We also lose 3 from Sir Conrad seeing them die, plus I draw 3 from the Harvester seeing them die. With Marie sacrificing the Enduring Innocence, it comes back as an enchantment, losing its creature type. Max then casts a Skyclave Shade, and passing through his phases, he sacrifices it to Braids during his end step. As a result, each opponent takes 2, and Max draws 3 cards, and we also take another one from Sir Conrad, plus I draw another card from the Harvester. On my upkeep, I add another 2 counters onto the Descent, with everyone taking 6 and making 6 treasures. I then play a Swamp for turn and cast a Crime Novelist. I sacrifice all of my treasures, floating 9 black mana and making 9 additional red mana, and adding 9+1/+1 counters onto the Novelist from its ability. I then use 5 of the floating mana to help cast Chandra's Ignition and target the Crime Novelist. With that on the stack, Marie uses Chaos Warp and targets my Crime Novelist. I have no way to save it, and shuffle it into my library, revealing a Runescarred Demon off the top, which comes in and hits the field. This has me tutoring for a card to put to hand, and the Ignition then fizzles as the target is gone. Once all that's done, I cast Dismember with the floating mana, and target Sir Conrad to try and take it out. With my targeting on the stack, Max sacrifices some treasures to activate Sir Conrad, and the table all mill their top card. He hits 1 creature, dealing 1 to his opponents. He then activates Sir Conrad again, and once again hits 1 creature. He goes for broke, doing it a 3rd time, and hitting 1 final creature. He stops at this point, and Sir Conrad dies. I then continue, casting a Dark Confidant. I then cast Rev, and remember that Sir Conrad dying would trigger the Harvester, and I draw a card before moving to combat. I swing the Harvester at Max, who blocks with Braids. With her dying, I draw yet again from the Harvester. In my second main phase, I paint a huge target on my back with an Ingenious Artillerist, and pass to Felix. Felix has a Plains for turn, and casts What Must Be Done, using his treasures to help wipe the board of all creatures and artifacts. With the wipe on the stack, Max sacrifices his treasures to help cast Bitter Response, and takes out my Harvester before the wipe resolves, so I won't draw the cards. The wipe then cleans away the board, and Felix follows up with a Smothering Tithe, and passes to Marie. Marie's turn has her not paying for the Smothering Tithe trigger, and Felix makes a treasure token. She then plays a Sunscorched Divide as her land for turn. She casts an Arcane Signet, and follows up with an Impact Tremors. Once that's out, Marie plays an Agate Instigator, dealing 1 to each opponent from the Impact Tremors as it comes in, and gets to draw a card from the Enduring Innocence. She then passes after that. Max's turn has him drawing and playing his Swamp. This brings back the Bloodghast from his graveyard with the Landfall ability, and we should note it has haste because Felix and I are at 10 life. Max then recasts his commander. He then moves to combat and swings the Bloodghast at me, dealing a critical 2 damage to my face. Max then passes, and sacrifices the Bloodghast to Braids. Felix and I take 2 because we don't have a choice, and Marie doesn't want to lose her an Instigator, so she takes 2 as well. This has Max drawing 3, and he passes after that. My upkeep is funny, as the Descent triggers, and the ability resolves fully, making everyone 8 treasures, and then killing Felix and I at the same time. With nothing else, we move to Marie's turn. Marie untaps and draws. She plays a Mountain for turn, and casts a Priest of Urabrask, making 3 red as it comes in, and also dealing 2 to Max from the Instigator and Tremors combined. She also gets to draw a card from the Enduring Innocence. She then recasts the Jolly Balloon Man, dealing another 2 to Max. She then activates the Jolly Balloon Man, making a copy of the Instigator, and dealing 2 more as the token comes in. She doesn't even need a swing at this point though, casting a Boros Charm, and picking the mode to deal 4 to Max's face, and wins the game. This video is brought to you in part by my sponsors. Card Conduit is the easiest way to sell your unused Magic cards. Whether your collection is sorted or not, there's an option for everyone. With a payout averaging 19% higher than just using one buy list, you can rest assured you get the best bang for your buck, and you can get further savings of 10% on your service fees by using my affiliate link down below or the promo code MTGMudsta. 401 Games is Canada's one-stop shop for trading cards, board games, and hobby supplies. With a huge selection of cards and sealed product, first-time buyers can save 5% off their first order by using the code MTGMudsta, and returning shoppers can also use the code GOBLINS5 to save 5% on orders of singles. And Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. You can use the promo code MUDSTA or the affiliate link down below to save 5% on your next order. Alright, Marie, you won. What did you think of the deck?
It looks very interesting. I feel like I haven't really played the commander like it was supposed to, because I activated it once and it was at the end of the game when I was already winning. So,
that's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah. Apart from that, I think it would have been really cool to use with the Overlord. Unfortunately, I targeted Felix and he did not like that I targeted his Cadric first, so I didn't get to experience more. But
I had a lot of value, but the red enchantment that Andrew had was very insane for all of us, so didn't catch up for all the value that my opponent had. So yeah,
I regret nothing. Descendant of First is one of the best cards in Magic ever.
it's a good card.
I love it so much. And then that Crime Novelist would have been just yeah, getting rid of it when the Chatter's Ignition was on the stack was the right move.
Yeah,
because you were all very dead otherwise.
For my part, I think it went well for the turn with Delina and Jaxis. But after that, I ran out of juice a little bit. And the board, I had hoped to have more time, but Disinterminants take down low. So, and the Sir Conrad was there. And
yeah, Sir Conrad hurt too.
It kind of hurt.
We all kind of hurt each other, except for you. You just took the pain.
Yeah. I have one big turn and then nothing.
Yeah. That's a good game. It's fast. I like that. See you in the next one. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.